So although there was ang sikat niya itong una, I don't know if you're familiar with Manila Sound. Kana bitong katong VST, katong isayaw something like hot dog, Manila. I keep coming back to Manila and all of that stuff. Mo to gitawag nila Manila Sound. Kaning rock and roll was the opposite of that. Mura gitawag niya og counter culture, right? So ang opposite niya na was rock and roll, and that's why it was kind of in the beginning it was more strange to most people, but there were already mga gitawag na to og followers of rock and roll, and that's how the legend of Juan de la Cruz started. And of course, now Mike Hanopol still making music until now. Can you imagine how old he is now? He's still making music. Murag siguro sigurong artistic pursuits or passions actually is probably part of longevity sa. Nga namoy pursuits like art ba nga murag dugay mo napamoy you have something to wake up to. Right?
I feel like if not you get passion, di man gini mo mabiyaan, like no matter how long pa, how old you get, di gini mo mabiyaan.
Yeah. Grabe sa. So anyway, thank you so much, Mike Hanopol, of course, Mel Libre and Dindo Dahao for bringing us Mike Hanopol, a true rock legend, and I hope you watch their stage play very soon this November. It's called Jep Rocks, and also download their music on Spotify called Written Voices with Mike Hanopol and Dindo. Karong taod-taod, in fact, we're going to go live in a few moments with our special guest, and we're going to talk about artificial intelligence, because today is what we call Artificial Intelligence Appreciation Day. Woohoo! Cheers! 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 Thank you. So, kanina to ang guest before we put her on the air. Can you give us a breakdown? Who is our special guest to help us with the conversation about Artificial Intelligence Appreciation Day? Who wants to do that? Go ahead.
Okay, so today's guest, her name is Joanna Mariblanca. She is the Senior Director in Marketing and Agentic Automation Builder based in Cebu, Philippines. She is the founder of AI Generation Cebu organization and a leader at the IDEX Tech Research and Management Corporation, as well as the creator of AI Gen Society. Her expertise spans multiple industries with a focus on leveraging automation and artificial intelligence to drive innovation and business transformation. So once again, this is Ms. Joanna Mariblanca.
Maayong buntag ni mo diha, Maria Ange. Hold on, give me a second. Maayong buntag ni mo diha, ma'am. Hold on, give me a second.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Cool. Nice.
Where are you? Sorry for the delay. We were having a great conversation with a rock legend, Mr. Mike Hanopol. So tell me about today. It's AI Appreciation Day. How are you celebrating it, ma'am? Especially you being right smack in the middle of the artificial intelligence storm.
It's actually a good time to have a storm. Oh. I'm kidding. So yeah, it's great to have. I actually just discovered AI Appreciation Day sometime this week, and that's because when you think about it, everyone had a taste of what AI is the moment. Generative, that's like a subfield of AI. If it were an umbrella, generative AI was coined and everyone discovered it back in 2023 or even late 2022 when the likes of ChatGPT came to mind. And it's something that people have mixed feelings about. Some are happy about it, some are actually terrified. So I understand where and why it's it feels pretty interesting, and it's fun to experience how society views AI today. The way I'm celebrating it is to always make it a point to have generative AI learning and building accessible to people, and not just for Cebuanos, hopefully, because of how global its impact has become.
You
So
know, although our event, our celebration is called, like, even our episode on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok, please, if you want to join the conversation, please join our conversation by simply, chatting with us or texting us 0999-887-6070. In spite of the fact we're celebrating Appreciation Day, and we're going to talk about how much we appreciate AI and all of the positives of AI. We have to talk about first. Let's get this out of the way. The elephant in the room, right? Let's talk about all of these all the AI haters, right? Naman yun na siya. Every time a movement or something is successful, if you reach a certain point of success, naman yun yung mga haters, whether we like it or not, in any facet of life, especially kaning something as divisive as technology, right? So akong pangutana ni mo, Ange, first and foremost, we're gonna start with this so that we can get this out of the way and we can start appreciating AI. Daghan kay kog mga kaila nga mura og dili ganahan og AI. In fact, they're complaining about a lot of things, especially kanang AI generated art, right? Daghan kayo nang complain mo post ka og AI nga image, for example, or video nga generated by AI, masuko sila ngano man nganong nagpost man kaniana. In fact, my own brother kaning told me nga, what are you doing, man? Like you have to make sure nga you tell everybody that that's AI because people might think it's true and so on and so forth. So daghan kay gitawag na to backlash, di ba? Kay successful naman kayo ang AI karon. It's omnipresent now. So what do you say to those that are AI or artificial intelligence haters? Ange, go ahead.
So, hello to all the haters. Kidding. So, I actually see the concern here as to why they feel this way about generative AI created, let's say, results, and that includes videos, AI arts. I'm glad that we're actually pretty much aligned with how AI should be used ethically. And so it's okay to feel a certain way about that, especially if it goes against your own ethical, let's say, compass. So when I look at it, it's pretty much the thought of how you want to react to the situation. If you feel that there's something wrong other people are doing when leveraging AI, then it's okay to speak out about that, to actually regulate such, use and development. And if you were to see the good side of it, which is what we're actually doing with the entire gist of the org that we have, is to upskill and be able to build AI systems that means something to businesses, and you see that the use case is pretty good and effective and it's used ethically, that's something to celebrate about. And perhaps the hate there is being channeled in could be a more productive way. But if you were to see yourself as someone, a consumer, getting your hands on ChatGPT, for example, because of its recent controversy on using Studio Ghibli's, let's say, AI art style, as I've already seen that go viral online, especially, it really, let's say, it really gets us to ask, are we using AI the right way, or are we using AI for our personal ways or for our personal reasons at a cost of someone else's, livelihood, or perhaps reputation, or perhaps something that is more concerning?
So you mentioned, excuse me, you mentioned the word ethically, right? Are you using AI ethically? So for you to be able to say that means there is already a right way and a wrong way, diba? Because you said you have to use it ethically, diba? So I think two questions here. Number one, unsam gyud ng AI di? What does it mean when you say AI? Because people are saying kanang calculator bay AI man na siya. Kanang there's so many precursors, if you will, of AI, diba? Onya, ikaduha, like unsam day, when is it unethical and when is it ethical? Diba dugay namang you kaning AI, diba? Katong gitawag nila og the Turing test, diba? Nga unsay tawag ni ani nga makadetect baka kung if the work is done by a machine or if it's done by a computer, right? And so on and so forth. So two questions lang, Ange. Number one, unsa man gyud ning AI? When do you start saying this is artificial intelligence as we know it? And maybe you can go on into explaining what the different kinds of artificial intelligence. Number two, unsa man day unethical, unsa man day ethical ways of using AI, and who wrote the book on who wrote the 10 commandments of AI? Go ahead.
So I'd like to say, in my having to simplify AI is the ability to bring large amounts of data. So it's any type of information in the atmosphere of this world to collate and then collect, gather that perhaps data, get it clean, and then transform that to actionable, let's say, behavior, such as could be it's used when people chat and find answers about certain questions. So that mechanism can pull data from its own base to answer certain questions. AI is able to also help automate certain tasks that could be in business that you want not to do manually anymore, and to generate content that hopefully would be ethical of use. So there are different types. Just to recap what I've said, AI is a collection of human data in this world, whatever type of data it is trained on. Could be privately used data or could be publicly available data. And it's able to help people make their life convenient in ways that there are some parts of their workflow that gets automated and that they find answers to certain questions. That's something you'd much appreciate about AI. But there's also the engineering part of it, which I'm not able to touch upon because I.
So now by
like us to
now by
focus
different
on
kinds of AI, now by diba, now by general AI, specific AI, narrow AI. Like what are the main versions of AI?
I'd like to say what we will have right now that's pretty much heard of entirely would be generative AI. So that's
Unsa maning
one
generative
type.
AI? Unsa maning can you explain in layman's terms unsa maning generative AI?
With generative AI, you're able to produce content that would be written content, video type of content, or image. So it's able to generate
So
something for
Chat
you.
GPT is an example of generative AI? Yes or yes, ma'am?
Its interface when you try to chat with Chat GPT is a generative AI model.
Yes, because I'm already talking to Chat GPT about Imagine, the
All
song
right.
Imagine by John Lennon, for example, and he or she gives me an image of the imagination of an entire song. So that can be called generative AI. Sakto
Yes.
ba ko, Ange?
You're right, sir.
So
That's one thing that it can do.
so those are the kinds of generative AI. So ningon makaganihagod nga ethical, unethical. Who wrote the book on the do's and the don'ts of AI?
There's not one book that's being written. I would say that it's best to have it mandated how AI should be used, but only when the specific people who would mandate it actually
I
understand.
heard nga the people in Europe are ahead of the curve when it comes to regulation because a lot of our friends from China and from the United States they're treating this as like similar to an arms race, right? AI race. So anyway, so dili sila kayo naghimo og guardrails pero ang Europe kuno mo'y naguna sa mga balaod when it comes to use of AI. Are you familiar with what's going on with Europe or in terms of the guardrails of AI? What can you tell us about the kinds of guardrails society has developed so that we can use AI, in your own words, ethically? Go ahead.
One thing I'm aware of is before generative AI had taken over the world, so that was back in 2023. One of the guardrails that the governments in UK have posed was to be able to ensure the Data Privacy Act and also how data is being used by, well, users. Also for businesses who have access to that data. That includes people who are on Instagram for them in UK. There are certain features or there are certain, let's say, constraints in how people would come to message them automatically. So not everyone is able to message people from the UK unless if there are conditions to it, unless if they know this person, unless if their email address has been obtained in an ethical way, they were able to opt in on getting email marketing updates and some stuff like that. So that's one of the guardrails, because when you think about it, it trickles down to how AI will be used generally. So with generative AI, it only gets to generate something if it has a good amount of data pertaining to whatever it's being
Yeah,
trained on.
it's data driven. So you mentioned earlier ethically phishing or getting email addresses, for example, right? So kana lang dapita dia. Let's talk about that. What's ethical and what's unethical of way of getting that kind of information? Let's just say email address. Okay, kana for example, mo sign up ka og let's just say Facebook or whatever online. Purti mang taasa, di ba? Pila ka pages, di ba? Ang imong signan. And I don't have time to read the Bible, right? I mean, because it reads like a Bible, right? So akong pasabot is like then you have to check what is that? I agree, I accept, blah 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 blah. So imong tanaw, Ange, unsa may ethical way of getting that kind of specific data, let's just say email address from somebody. Unsa may ethical, unsa may unethical na?
So there are terms you need to be agreeing on. I'd like to say that when you're on a public platform that is free, and then that you have to check on, I agree to these terms and conditions, that you're likely going to have to give your data to the platform that you're on. So it would be used privately or publicly.
So basahon gid mo ang basahon, kinahanglan gid mo basahon ang all of the things written in the, what do you call that? The what's that? Terms and conditions, right? All of those millions of pages that you have to read all of them and be able to understand. So I don't know. Do you feel like that's fair that you have to read all of that?
For me lang, terms and conditions are really long at times.
Yeah.
Siguro na I feel like a contract, need man gid siya na complete ang details, but I feel like dapat siguro siya na like summary for like people lang ba na I like what they said, sir, we don't got time to read the Bible na. So I feel like it would be better siguro if like let's say summarization lang of like what's inside that.
Yeah, because especially since for companies who have very long terms and conditions, they actually hide stuff in those long rules, and we don't like dito makabantay kay taas lagi kayo niya what you read. So yeah, they actually use the length as a loophole, so it would be better siguro if you summarize, there's a summarized version, or what if you summarize there is a ChatGPT?
How about you, Chris? What do you think? What do you think of that? Do you think it's fair that the terms and conditions is kilometric, is very long and biblical, that you probably don't have time to read it? That's precisely why you wanted to download this particular application or software, or maybe even social media site, because you want your life to be easier and quicker, and then all of a sudden you have to read all of this.
I think I agree. Also, when we had cases before, we usually use ChatGPT to summarize it. So it's very similar to that. At least ba you're not kanang unaware sa mga say content na.
And if like namagay summarization, di ba, makita ka na marang kanina clause is like something na siya something. So imong pangitaon to asa dapita para ma-review nimo. At least makabalo lang ka sa like basic content na naa-added to sa ano.
Because we are a data-driven world right now. This is a data-driven economy. We're in the business of attention and so on and so forth. So kaning mga terms and conditions, that's the only way, one of the measures. If you sign it, that means that you're giving up your data to the application, to the social media site. So kung ni-sign ka sa terms and conditions, Ange, and you use the app, that means that you're giving the permission to the owner of the social media site or app or whatever to get your information, right? Mo na siyang definition of ethical. One of that at least. Sakto ba ko, Ange? Sakto ba, dili?
We're giving consent,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
when it comes to ethical use of data, it's what happens after
Yeah, okay.
that consent is given.
Okay.
Because you know how they write out their terms and conditions. They don't really explain how your data is being used all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Like terms and conditions can be written in different ways.
Yeah.
So they let you know what would happen if you put on your data on there. That would mean it will be used, but in some ways.
Yeah.
In some ways, it's not exactly that specific. It could be in, in a myriad of ways. So if you come to think of it, how it will be used is actually something we need to question. It's also something I would practice with people who join us in events and also those who are in workshops, and how data or perhaps even building systems would be ethically done, and how we are not lackadaisical, or how we're actually vigilant in using AI art, AI video generation tools, and also even voicer. So we should be very careful on what types of voices we need to replicate with AI, because a lot of people might actually, be affected, especially if their voice is their bread and butter when it comes to, what they do in the world. So, yeah. However, your data, which means anything, your name, what you do for a living, what you produce. So perhaps, for example, from like what happened a while ago with our conversation that you had with Juan de la Cruz, band members, that we don't want band members to feel, let's say, we don't want them to feel like their work will be copied by AI, and of course they will be sad about that. But that's why we implement types of rules in how AI should be used, so that when people come to use them, there are consequences to replicating people's voices, to actually passing your work as if it's actually yours, but not generated by AI if you don't disclose that.
Speaking of consequences, what are the consequences, man, if let's just say I gave my email address to Facebook, for example, and then all of a sudden I get an email from 100 Bitcoin cryptocurrency sellers, right? Or at least they're peddling or pitching their idea. Yeah, for example, I'm sure there's digital forensic that can trace back the information that they got from me on my when I signed up for Facebook, for example. Unsa may repercussions? How do we penalize, or how do we punish them for using my information unethically?
So we have choices to make. If it were at a level of your email address being sent, or you're getting these messages via your email address and they're using it for their own marketing promotions you didn't actually opt in for, then it's always best to unsubscribe or to set a spam. So you could set these certain senders as spam if they keep sending you messages.
No, but wait. So you spam nimo ang imuhang katong mga but that's not the crime. The crime is somebody gave that email address to somebody, and then that's why I have all these hundreds of emails. Yeah. So that's not the crime. The crime is the fact that somebody gave that email address to somebody else. Let's assuming lang, just for this discussion, because of digital forensics, nakita namo nga upon investigation nga ang akong email address nga gi-share nila was the one that I gave Facebook when I signed the agreement.
So that's a matter of a data privacy breach, and it's up to them, like how what types of consequences would
Yeah. So for a company like Facebook, it's world famous. Everybody knows Facebook, right? Everybody knows Mark Zuckerberg, and so on and so forth. Do they have Philippine operations? And is there like a place that we can complain about in the Philippines when it comes to entities like social media platforms like Facebook?
Honestly, I haven't really figured out if they have operations here, but it would be great if they actually had centers for that. If they're, if they care about their users.
This is probably a different. We're talking about probably a different problem, but this is where it always occurs, Mango, diba? The AI concerns are applications on social media, especially, diba, kanang Meta and so on and so forth. So mo nang concern lang ko about it, but I know that that's already probably outside of your purview, Angie. Pardon me for asking. I just wanted to know. We're also here with Justin Narvios. Say hi, Justin.
Hi, Miss Anne. Top of the morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. And also top of the morning to all our listeners today watching us on TikTok, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live. Top of the morning to Kush, Nightcrawler, South Vibes, and Lian Sagas. So our guest today is Miss Joanna Ange Mariblanca. No, she's our expert on AI or artificial intelligence. So Miss Joanna, I have a question. I saw this post on social media. I don't know if it's true, so can you please help me confirm or deny, no? Ang creator daw of ChatGPT, and that's one of the generative AIs, it is said that he travels around wherever he goes. He brings a backpack with the kill switch to ChatGPT. Do you think that's true? And what do you think about that? Do you think that the creator of AI should have a kill switch? It's kind of alarming. Personally,
What's a kill switch? Define to us what a kill switch is.
a kill switch, if I'm not mistaken, is a device that allows you to totally destroy or shut down operations of a particular tech.
Basically like a self-destruct button.
Kana, yes, perfect. A self-destruct button. So it said daw nga, ang kaning creator of ChatGPT walks around with a backpack na naa daw self-destruct button for his actual creation. Tinood na siya, Miss Ange?
Actually, ako sa Texan. Pero,
I-chat to sa to.
Yeah, how easy is it to...
Yeah. But what do you think about that, Miss Ange? Do you think it would be easy for the creator himself to just shut it down, even though there are millions of users of ChatGPT around the world?
So there are businesses dependent on the platform. ChatGPT's interface is being created and owned by OpenAI, and a lot of people have subscribed not only as users but also as enterprises and business as well.
I think the bigger question is, why is that necessary? Like kanang kill switch man gud para man sa nuclear arsenal, nuclear weapons. So why do you think it's necessary? Whether it's true or not, I don't care right now. I just care about why would you need? Why is that part of the conversation? Why do you need a kill switch? What could possibly go wrong, right?
So, well, the kill switch might be debatable because a lot of businesses will actually be harmed because they would not have access to the AI for their systems. What happens is if with the kill switch, if we were to activate that, the reason would be that it has a global effect harming the population. If we were to try to imagine like how that's going to happen. And another would be that there's already an internal, let's say, leadership breach of OpenAI that AI has already controlled the company itself. So perhaps those are like the two major reasons, but I don't think a kill switch is the direct solution to any type of problem because it could be misused in a lot of ways, and it could actually because of the scale of ChatGPT, it can cause perhaps a riot.
No, I totally agree with that, Miss Ange. No, I can imagine people think, Mango, that the use of generative AI is limited or most commonly used in the education sector lang. No, but it depends. Guilty ba ko na suddenly we feel so bare with it. It feels like going out the house without a phone. It's imagine tagaan kag assignment and then you've never opened a tab gid nga chat. Okay, it feels weird because it's there to stay man gid, no? Personally, that's how I feel about it. So, but the thing is, as mentioned by Miss, no, it could have catastrophic kanang effects depending on how integrated AI is sa atong lives, gid, sa atong lifestyle, sa atong community. So I can imagine, like, what
could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
So the question is, what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. So
why do you need a kill switch?
Yeah. So we have to look at what other facets of life man they are our lifestyle kay ginagamit gud ang AI aside from education. So one I immediately thought of, guys, would definitely be in other countries man good. I'm so happy because this was my thesis paper. Oh, not really thesis. It was like a short paper that we had to write for legal writing, and it has to do with the use of AI for the non-contact apprehension policy, NCAP. No, it's how AI can be used now to identify identify plate numbers of those who do traffic violations, and thus it is a more efficient way, no, of delivering justice, and at the same time it's not kanang biased ba because of a certain, the imperfections of a traffic enforcer, human as we are. Pero we notice that this is something very successful in other countries like the UK, the US, no, they do that. It's been implemented for years na. There's a track, for example, in traffic nga pwede mag-speeding, if you pay a certain amount, niya ma-detect na siya sa AI and blah, blah, blah. But these are managed by third-party organizations. Ang atong data, like who owns the car, your name, your address, it's managed by another company. But AI is there to assist. So I can imagine, maybe if things go crazy, like pina-movie plot ba nga mo take over ang AI, siguro tanan natong information, I don't know, like, it could be a flood of that, and then Moto, I can just think of data breach. That's the biggest kanang worst case scenario I can think of. Nga, we would need a kill switch. Kamo guys, what do you think would be a crazy scenario na mo gamit a kill switch for AI?
Yeah, I think realistically, the biggest concern would be data breach because
data breach no?
Yeah, data breach. I don't think man po like in the movies na mo take over the world.
Tema. You have to understand that people like me aren't that smart. So what is data breach? Unsa ba ang data breach? Murag gani nga mga lawom na kay mga expressions diri. Di ko kasabot anang data breach. Unsa ba ang data breach?
I'll read an explanation.
Ma'am Ange, pasabta ko nami unsa nang data breach.
So it's misusing your data. That's what data breach is.
What's that?
It's misusing your data.
Misusing of data.
Okay.
So unsa may definition ng misusing of data now?
That depends on what you agreed upon. So if you agreed upon that your data should be used in this way, but it's no longer used in that way alone,
That's a data breach.
Okay.
Yeah, kaning AI nganong why will it suffer from let's just talk about ChatGPT for example. Kung naay data breach may tabo sa ChatGPT, how does that look like? Describe to us what will happen if there was a data breach, and why do I need to press the kill switch and just take it down?
So when your data gets exposed or disclosed without your consent, and
so AI can do, ChatGPT can do that.
It's the people behind it that are able to perhaps do that if they have so willingly. If they do so willingly. So ChatGPT alone cannot do it.
So ChatGPT alone cannot do it, but if they're bad players behind it, it doesn't have to be people who are part of ChatGPT, right? I can imagine. I'm just correct me if I'm wrong. Cutting ChatGPT is just like any other .com company or internet company. There are like hundreds of or if not thousands of people behind it, right? It's not something that's just operating on itself, right? Sakto ba ko, and kaning AIs like ChatGPT are manned by hundreds, if not thousands of individuals.
Let's say it's a complex organization because there are also shareholders.
Yeah. So kani siya,
when you think about,
daghang yung kayong tao ni operate niya ni.
Perhaps the word might be operate is sort of a complex thing to say, but let's say that a lot of people that actually have access to our data, but it's only up to them like how they are securing such data.
So this is like Facebook nga naay opisina nga, for example, na ako'y complain, adto ko sa eskina sa Leon Kilat na ChatGPT dito akong surihang buhanga niyo. Unsa man, is there like a bricks and mortars place kanang mga AI companies like ChatGPT?
Well, ChatGPT has already had controversial instances that their people's data was not being protected, or perhaps it was used for ChatGPT to be trained on.
So where did the victims complain? Where do they complain?
They're not able to complain directly. They only had to complain online, and there are others that have already filed lawsuits on that.
Because I think that's very important. Muna diferensya gyud sa bricks and mortars media outfits or bricks and mortar stores or businesses kina kay tao nga komplainan, di ba? Na kay padadaan pasakaan og sumbong tagag papel na kay labayag tamatis kung necessary, di ba? Pero kaning mga inani nga klase ng kompanya bang wata ka basam nilang opisina, eh? Laban na, especially if they're overseas, right? Kung malabay kag tamatis, you have to be really really strong, right? Para maigo sa Amerika, di ba? Wherever their offices are, right? So kanang mga inani ba kanang mga atong gipanggamit, di ba? Grabe ang makita mo gamit og Facebook, grabe kita mo gamit AI, grabe kayong Pilipinas mo adapt. Our adoption to technology is unheard of, right? Number one, mo gamit og Facebook sa kalibutan for a while, not too long ago, right? So kaning mga foreign-based companies ba, like AI, like ChatGPT and other ChatGPT companies, kung naay mga problema, naay mga complaints, naay mga manghitabo nga dili maayo, like what can we do here in Cebu?
It's actually pretty it depends on the situation you're in, sir. It really depends on how you're going to have to mitigate problems such as your data being leaked.
Okay.
Or perhaps,
Kana lang simple as that, data breach. Unsa man nako, like layo na wa man na siya diri sa Pilipinas. Naba na siya sa Pilipinas? Wa gid what? So
what you can do is before a breach happens, let's say something that we can do is much on prevention is we only share specific things about us and what we do as a living
Okay.
to, let's say, ChatGPT and other types of generative AI models without having to share too personal and private data such as your bank account or perhaps your phone number and all that. Yeah, that's what we can do. And also, if we were business owners, then we have to ensure that we only share data that can be analyzed and synthesized by these large language models, generative AI models, that are able to help us but not save that data onto their base.
So when you say share ba, do you mean if somebody asks you, you share it? But what if you just have that data in your hard drive? Di ba there's a way for people to access that information gyapon without you actually sharing it, right?
When you share something to a generative AI platform such as ChatGPT, the only time when you do that is when you prompt. So when you write the ChatGPT. Otherwise, if you don't write to that AI model and prompt about what you are hiding or what you are keeping to yourself, then they're not that. Let's say ChatGPT cannot access that.
Okay, basi nakalimutan, we're already like a few minutes in and then we forgot that today is AI Appreciation Day, right? So let's get to the appreciation. Let's get to the appreciation part, okay?
All right.
So okay, we can have another AI Depreciation Day or whatever we call it. But karon is AI Appreciation Day. So what is there to appreciate about AI? Let's start with Ange. Unsa may imuhang tanaw is the best benefit here in Cebu for AI? Kaya kita usahay kaning sayo makita mo adapt og technology. Sometimes some of us are adapting it too fast and too quickly. We don't have really concrete uses for it yet. But kita sa Cebu, like right now, today, what are the things that we can appreciate and we can already use AI for in Cebu? Go ahead, Ange.
We can use generative AI to upskill on certain, let's say, fields that we'd like to learn. And you're able to upskill also with the generative AI tools for, people that you'd like to help out. Let's say clients that want to hire you for building AI systems or using generative AI for certain types of tasks. Something we also need to celebrate is we don't have to always manually do things.
The automation helps so much good.
Yeah. So that's something that to celebrate. Also, we get to celebrate more of our writing creativity, as well as how we're able to communicate with others because of generative AI, as well as generative AI understanding perhaps our emotions or perhaps certain things that we can share to the AI
Yeah.
without having to worry about it, especially when we need someone to talk to. So
Ay,
generative AI is actually a really good
Guilty ta na
listener.
da.
for real. I
Yeah.
actually asked AI if I should text my ex.
Ala! No, no, no. Actually,
Yes.
you know what? That's one of the things no in psychology ba. Sometimes they would say nga basin in the long run mo replace daw ang kaning mga therapists and like that. Pero yeah, you know, if you train your AI enough to learn about that psychology niya, imong i-upload ka na mga you give it information about your life, it can find out mga patterns of your behavior.
Yeah.
Katabang sadbe na siya, no? And I
Yes,
know
it
a lot of people in the psychological field who even use that, uploading messages with kanang loved ones or exes and then trying to see what patterns AI can find in their behavior. Makatabang sad ba ya? So I understand what you mean regarding that, no?
Yeah, I think there's also a sense of comfort man good if you like talk to someone like you don't really know personally, like murag, di sila mo judge sa imuha. So I think that's also another reason why
Di gid mo
people
judge.
Bias.
Yeah,
Ayan,
dili sila
bias. Like, objective
so,
lang yun sila mo chika ni mo.
Yeah,
Yung pangutan
I
na.
think that's also one of the reasons why people use AI as quote-unquote therapists now.
What else, guys? So what else can we celebrate about AI aside from that?
I also want to ask lang Miss Ange, no, kanang since appreciation month, kanang can you like shed us some light kanang especially sa mga people nga like they have this common misconception nga kanang pulihan daw ta sa AI, and I just kanang me I'm aware nga di jud ta pulihan oy lisod jud pulihan ang mga tao kay kita man sad ang brain.
Yeah,
Mo
yeah,
na,
yeah.
na create ang AI. I just want you, Miss Ange, to like kanang give us kanang kuan ba kanang an answer nga kuan kita ma-relieve nga ay dito mapulihan sa
Ma-assure ka ng
sa AI kaning mga jobs.
Yeah,
so like
sakto.
can you like
Yeah,
give us
Miss Ange, do you think mapulihan ta sa AI? And
yeah.
if not, no, can you give us a sense of like encouragement why di ta mapulihan sa AI?
So the type of, let's say, answer I could give here is we're already doing the work of not getting replaced by AI. So that's something that we have already had done in when we launched the org back in 2024. People have been using generative AI with their own code in building applications and websites.
Yeah.
There are some parts that are, let's say, automated that we don't need people for because you will have to transfer your skills to different avenues such as management, such as critical thinking, systems thinking. So this is something I would teach to people so that they're not necessarily replaced by AI, but it is already a supplementary being or supplementary entity that will help you with your, long drawn out plan in managing and organizing. So you would actually be the superior brain and also having intuitive power to make decisions with the likes of ChatGPT, Grok, Google Gemini to help you make sound decisions based on its analysis. So you get to interpret, or these generative AI tools interpret things that you need to act on. So it's not that AI is not able to act
On
on
its own.
everything. So that's why we're not able to get replaced. And even your clients would actually prefer to be spoken to by a human.
Humans.
They don't want to be talking to an AI because it kind of feels weird. There's no human to human interaction or contact. There's no connection being formed. So people would still seek and would actually seek more of connection to other people because they trust, they trust because we're actually humans, so we trust humans rather than trusting AI solely. So we're still there in that precipice, basically that part of our, let's say, tech development. I don't see that we are going to be replaced by AI solely. We have our skills transferred to something.
Transferred. All right.
Okay, sa mga
Relief,
nalinaw
no?
karon, kabaw na mo nga dita mapulihan og AI.
Again.
Dili pa.
Dili pa, no.
So napaday
The ay. So padung pa. No, but I really like how Miss mentioned that no nga. It's just a transfer of skills, which ultimately that comes from us
as
mangyud,
human.
no? Oh, it's just that it makes our life easier. Kita gyapon mo hatag sa commands, I suppose. So very very ano na siya, Miss, validating.
It is. For example, if you were to come up with, let's say, calculations, you would use the calculator. So technically, you're the one you're the one automating calculations
Yeah.
with the device, but then your skills were transferred to actually operating the device itself. So there has to be someone, human in four, that would be operating such device like AI, for example.
Yeah.
So that's that's the skill transfer. So you're not mathing the numbers; you're operating a device that will math the numbers for you. So that's how it looks like.
Yeah, precisely, miss. I get that, kid. And that also gives us a lot of hope, and at the same time, murag dili ta dapat mo salig because ultimately the work comes from us manggihapon at the end of the day, no? You know, I feel like
Definitely.
it's so much easier to talk smack about AI, like to make to talk about
Villainize.
AI, to villainize it, no? But there's a lot to appreciate about it, and I think maybe in my case lang, guys, I don't know about you. I think I used it so much that now, like, if it were
Same.
to be totally erased from the face
Yeah.
of the earth, I'm like,
What am I
wait,
gonna
it
do
feels
now?
weird. It feels so weird. Gid,
Because
no?
I think AI mo god, it helps you kanang
Simplify.
kanang nga boring nga mga task gani.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Kay mas mapadali ang paggamit. Me, I use ChatGPT. I'm sorry, guys.
ChatGPT.
Kung hater mo sa ChatGPT. Pero I use ChatGPT especially when kanang there are instructions that I don't understand or kanang it needs
Yeah.
kanang elaborative explanation ba.
Yeah.
So what I do is I ask ChatGPT kanang, can you like kanang break it down
Simplify.
for me and simplify
Okay,
it for me.
perfect.
So when ingani di siya. So when I do my kanang projects baron or any assignments, then I can do it by myself.
Exactly.
And also, when you use ChatGPT or any AI nga mga kuan device, kanang need manggud sa imuha gyapong brain
You-
gamiton.
you
Like
need to
kanang
feed
the way
it.
you prompt it, di ba?
Yeah, the way you teach it also in the same
Okay.
way and ask your questions. That's to be clear, said ba? Yeah, kung sa kay klaro, it what is generated is not
True.
as good. Also,
Misunderstanding.
not the same.
Yeah.
So maybe academe, learning new things. That's one facet, no, of how we can make use of or celebrate AI. Ako personally, sometimes there are times that I would upload documents that I need AI to help me. Like when I'm in a rush to find something in the document, instead of
Yeah,
pinabitang
exactly.
physically putting a tab, it's already there. So like for example, mga user manuals of mga devices, like new stuff I get. If I upload the user manual and then something goes wrong with that device, I can just ask the AI like,
Yeah.
okay, this one is not working, this device not working. Can you look through the user manual again and tell me how it works, this and that? No, there are times mangani that sometimes you can upload blood work. You though I'm not saying that's a good substitute to actually going to a doctor and having them nga mubasa gid sa imong blood
Yeah.
work. But it can overall tell you ngano kani taas akong platelets, ngano kani ana. More or less it can tell you maybe you have
Maybe.
this and this like that. So
Yeah.
super helpful. Or if naka ipa-convert, I'm a ano to that, no. Sometimes I don't like going to like the Google website nga i-convert ang, for example, I want to convert pila ka millimeters to,
that one.
oh yeah, I'm really not, I don't want to math it and I don't want to ask the internet sometimes, or pixel to inches. Like I just ask ChatGPT, okay, if this is pila ka pixel, pila ni siya ka ratio, ana. So it's super helpful. I can't imagine now, like if I didn't have it, I have to go back to the old way. How about you?
In education, we use this website called Notebook LM.
Oh
If you
yeah,
guys
yeah,
know that.
yeah.
Actually, very gamit dito siya katong nag-cases miss. Like, I really use Notebook LM to kanang summarize the documents, especially long cases. Then, kaning cases pud usahay kay ihatag gari sila like 2 days before sa actual exam. Like,
Yeah.
or crunch
There's not
time.
enough time.
Yeah, crunch time gani siya. So I use Notebook LM to summarize it. And Notebook LM also has this feature na i-podcast gani ang notes, miss.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
podcast
for auditory
of notes
learners, diba?
Yeah, and then there's also a prompt where you can really interact with the podcast. So like the podcast plays and there's this button that allows you to ask a question to the podcast. As if
Oh, I
you're
didn't
also,
know that. That's like an updated version.
it's an
Nga,
update
More
of it.
mo
Do you have to
converse ka.
subscribe it or
No, it's free. It's free actually.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it's free.
Okay,
And that's
okay.
how I do my
Wala, I
studying.
didn't know that.
Yeah, life hack, guys.
Okay, we will try that. I didn't know you can
Life hack.
actually ask the podcast mismo questions.
Yeah,
no?
it's like you're also part of the podcast. So that's what I really like, because when I'm studying, I like to interact with people. I
And
like
listen.
to listen and to basically mura akong mag-lecture gani while study ko. So it really helps me. Yeah.
There's a lot to appreciate, Manggid, and I'm sure Miss Anges has a lot more to share regarding that. No, all the things we can appreciate about about AI mismo. And we're so thankful that you're here with us today, Miss Ange. Thank you for joining us. No, somebody here, Janro, in our comments. Top of the morning, Janro. He says, without ChatGPT, I couldn't have landed my job as a content marketer.
That's interesting.
No?
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Maybe in finding unsay mga current trends sa market mismo that you
Yeah.
can use ChatGPT for that. Kind of copywriting, creation of the content in itself. Yeah. So it's here to stay. ChatGPT is here to stay, and there's no way that we can outrun it. So might as well celebrate it. Given appreciate.
Yeah.
Given mo follow sa tasa.
So if tapos si ChatGPT,
Ethical, ha?
super
Ethical,
BFF.
In a relationship
If
with
ChatGPT.
Actually, kita mo ng mga memes nga me and ChatGPT nga whatever
Yeah.
entity that is kay nag-glow siya ba or something like that. Yeah. I joke bitaw nga some random person in China or whoever runs ChatGPT probably knows now akong name, everything get about me kay sometimes mag-write ta og
Actually, what
letterhead
if-
ba. Lazy kaayo ko. Ako
You're gonna
i-upload
say
na.
your name to the ChatGPT there.
Well, I did. My ChatGPT knows my name na. Yeah, because I uploaded documents, for example, like CV, ana. Email.
And actually, use your email. ChatGPT can get your information, yeah.
I use my dump email, so it's not my real
May
name.
salary kay kuan siya prepared siya ako dili. Grabe. Og mo chika ko ng ChatGPT wagas.
overshare per me.
Oh.
Even sa ako mga life problems, ChatGPT always there for me.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Later, if ma-expose na siya mo, as giingon ni Miss, no, nga, kanang data breach, no, mahibaw nga tanan atong mga kyaw-kyaw, atong mga rants and all that, mga pictures of random, sometimes mag-upload sa tag picture ba nga, oh, what is this? Where is this? Unsa ba? We would already
That's
be
scary.
exposed, yeah.
I have a question for Miss Ange. It's more of related to their organization. So I'd like to ask Miss Ange now, what drew you to create an organization based on artificial intelligence? And as an AI organization, did you receive a lot of criticisms for supporting this advocacy, especially
Yeah.
since when it was first introduced, it was more of villainized rather than embraced by the people?
Yes.
What drew me to start the org is it really was down to how much support I was getting from the tech community in general. So it's not just generative AI community in Cebu. There's so many types of AI communities. Shout out to Pizza Pie, Web3 Cebu, and JavaScript Cebu, for example. So these are the tech communities that helped me out in creating perhaps also continuing the org activities, because when you think about it, generative AI, code, and whatnot, these are quite interlaced. And even freelancers from Cebu, digital freelancers of Cebu, are also partnering with me, partnering with the org for upskilling. So I had created this org with the thought in mind that Cebuanos would be able to upskill on generative AI to be one of the top in mind professionals for global, opportunities. So I'm not looking at it at just at a local, let's say, focal point, but also on a global scale, because a lot of us Filipinos have clients and we deal with them. We deal with clients abroad, so we have more opportunities there. If you don't want to fly out to another country, you can learn skills such as generative AI or any technical field, or a non-technical skill, technical skill rather, to be able to work from home or work remotely. So you have these options. Plus, you are top of mind because you're learning a very valuable skill that people are actually looking for. And today, one example of that skill is building agentic systems. You start with prompt engineering, and then you hop onto building automation.
Yeah.
So that's a whole
Coding na
different.
pod, oo.
Yes. You can also do it without code. And then you build
okay.
AI agents. That's the type of narrative you've been hearing around, up until you build AI infrastructures. So it's bringing even someone without needing to code first to be able to learn how to do or how to upskill on the basics, up until if they're ready to use code for a bit for this type of, let's say, task that they need to, let's say, build, such as an AI infrastructure, for example. So it's it's holding it's helping them rather not gatekeeping these skills to people, but helping anyone who is committed to learn to be able to upskill on that and have chances in growing, especially their income from opportunities they get outside of the Philippines. So I see that as a very crucial demand, but as also um, that demand entails if we have the workforce available
Okay.
to be able to meet that demand. So not everyone is willing to learn because they don't know where to start.
Yeah.
So why this
Actually.
org happened, because it allows them to know exactly where and how to start.
So it's an avenue for people who want to capitalize off of AI and learn the skills. They can come to you guys, to open that. Now, you don't necessarily have to have background in coding and this and that, but you can start with the technical skills. No, very interesting. Yun ni ang org ni Miss Ange, which by the way is the
AI Generation Cebu organization.
AI Generation Cebu organization. Love that. Yeah. So that's one of the
It's like a
reasons.
generation of Cebuanos using AI tools.
A generation of Cebuanos using AI tools. And this was established when, again, Miss Ange?
July 19, 2024. So,
Okay.
3 days na lang para mag-anniversary.
Yay! Mag 1 year anniv. And we're invited na, Miss. we're thankful to be a part of your Miss, no? Your anniversary.
Kami
And,
ka-party. Wala pa may di pa may mag-party, Adibis. But yeah, at some point, we would actually go on it. Kaya, I think 19 it's a weekend.
yeah,
It's a
Sunday?
weekend. So,
That's your time.
Saturday. Pero we're transitioning to webinars and online events.
Okay, perfect. And are these open for those who aren't necessarily members of your organization? Like if I were to want to learn something deeper than just prompt engineering, can I join?
Yes.
Okay.
Open ng
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. So a lot of us can join. I'm also curious, Miss, but you mentioned support, and that's one of the things that really help push for this advocacy to arise, no, for you to start this organization. The amount of support you're getting from different communities around Cebu. So I would just like to know. It's also the fact of the matter is our developments. That's why you wanted to really build it from the ground up sa Cebu City. Is that because if we look at in comparison to other nations, we're not necessarily at par with them in terms of AI development, or as you mentioned, the technical skills that we need to run AI. So what kind of support would Cebu City AI people, or how do you say it, AI enthusiasts or AI developers, thank you. What kind of support do we need, man, I miss, to be at par at least with like an international standard? Unsay kulang sa ato, Miss?
Private company support is there. It
Okay.
can be, it can be established, but they're not always mandated to do that. But we need government support. So actually, the OST Cebu needs support
Yeah.
from and funding from the government wherever they get their funds from. And I have to be loud about that kasi I know someone who represents the activities that we do as a whole, like not just generative AI, but other types of technology initiatives in learning. There is a representative in the UST. Actually, shout out to Serino of the UST. He loves to support us. He's from the UST who loves to support us in our initiatives. Only he needs backing from the management and also from the higher ups on how they're going to be able to fund and support our initiatives as well. So there's like a hierarchical thing going on in the government that they might need to change so that us Cebuanos would actually upskill, because now that Senator Pia Cayetano has already have a bill written before it gets passed.
Okay.
She had specifically mentioned that National AI Commission, if meron na yung bill, like National AI Commission should be had, and that will be spearheaded by the UST.
Okay.
So yeah, they have to step up, definitely.
Matter of
So we need government support. That's my answer.
So it's really a matter of governmental help, no? I think every time we ask people from different organizations, what kind of support do you need? What kind of support? It all boils down to resources also, which ultimately ang atong government ang mutabang gyud ana, no? But is there a final message, Miss Ange, that you would like to impart to our Cebuanos, no? I know government support is it's kind of like a macro thing, but what about for ang ordinary Cebuanos? Now, what can we do to I don't know, support AI, to support your cause of responsible use of AI? What can ordinary people like us, especially if we're not, we're only users of generative AI, what can we do, Miss? And how can you inspire us to join your cause?
So even with knowing the ethical use of generative AI, even knowing that, before having to study that, then what we actually can do is learn the basics, learn the nuances of generative AI, understand how you can use it, and then see yourself actually building something with that, and see where it takes you from there. So that's something that I like to impart.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Miss Anna Ange Mariblanca. To our Power Tops girls, anything else would you guys like to have as our closing, no, as we finish this morning's program? Go ahead, guys. Go ahead.
You go first.
Ikaw na, katong question. Sino mata question?
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so final question Ajud, for
Okay,
this.
okay.
So, as someone who's heavily involved in the AI advocacy, what do you think what's your prediction of the future of AI and their growth, especially here in Cebu or in other like grassroots communities like ours?
We're able to build AI ecosystems in the long run, and that's something that I'll have to define perhaps in the future, for as long when people come to understand what a system is today, not the system before, but yeah, the system that's automated. And also in the future, so far off into the future, would be when the human and the AI will become one.
Human and AI becomes
It's kind of scary.
Oliver's just like, wait a second. Human and AI
It's a
becomes one.
possibility.
Kuya wa matana, no?
Wedding, Oliver and AI.
Oh my goodness.
Cyborg.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
become one. So it's not the reason why we're actually afraid is we're trained to react on sensationalized and fear-based content on generative AI or
Okay.
any types of AI to be robotic in nature. We also get that from the news that sensationalizes these topics, as well as from the movies. So if there's anything of concern, the best thing we have to do is to study it and then look at how we can act on these problems with AI, for example. But instead of just reacting to it in such a way that we're choosing to fear it. So when we're choosing to fear it, we're choosing to not take the action of awareness and understanding, educating ourselves. So I mean, I have a background in psychology, so I understand the human brain and perhaps our monkey brain in reacting to situations where we don't know fear. So once that happens, our learning opportunities shrink, and also our awareness, and also how we absorb and observe information becomes limited.
Yes.
So if we see it in a lens of fear, we then act on it with fear. If we see it in the lens of empowerment, which is what I'm doing, we
awareness,
also act
improvement.
of empowerment. Yeah.
I
So
love that.
that's
Don't be afraid
So
of
I-
AI. Have it on our side. It's not here to replace us, rather to enhance our lives. Woo.
And AI is not the future, guys. I think AI is the present, just to help us level up, tama?
Kita ang future.
Kita
Yeah.
ang future, guys.
Ang AI di siya mo change, but it will only help us grow more. So it serves as a tool, not a replacement.
I love how we're really standing by because we really don't want it to go away. We're like, no, we need it good. We need
Hirap
it.
mag-isip wala si ChatGPT.
Hirap mag-isip without it, no? But once again, thank you so much, Miss Ange Mariblanca, for your presence today, for helping us, no? We'll definitely have you again on another time, maybe on a more like cynical topic. Di siguro appreciation. Maybe let's delve deeper, good, di ba?
Dangers of
The
AI.
dangers of AI. This is something that we can go on and talk about good for several other sessions. So thank you again so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Miss Ange Mariblanca from the organization.
AI Generation
Thank
Cebu
you so
organization.
Woohoo! and of course our Power Tops girls, no? Thank you guys for joining
What's
us
up,
every
what's up?
single day. If you guys haven't checked pa our content at tong mga very creative content creators here, no? Si Oliver, Christine, and Elorino, they make our TikTok video. So go support us. Go watch us on our TikTok and check out our
Repost and
Facebook.
like.
Yes.
Kana, repost and like.
Comment for engagement.
And comment too. So you're listening to TMC 105.1. This has been Justine Narvis. The most Cebu conversations, the most Cebu music. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
everyone.
Been playing.